Welcome to Overeducated and Underemployed. Today is a really cool episode. I get to sit down with Jenn Bryant. She's been the webmaster of the drive-by truckers since they had a website. She's the only webmaster they've ever had. She was also on the board of directors of AthFest. So we talk about AthFest. We just nerd out about the drive-by truckers. She's the original heathen. I don't really know what else to say, but it was a pleasure talking to her. She was super kind to sit down and talk to me. I think it was one of the best talks I've had on this show yet. And I'm excited for you to hear it. Everybody check out the movie, The Secret to a Happy Ending, if you're interested in more of this story. We reference it a couple of times in this interview. And Jenn actually did appear in that film and talks a little bit about some of this, but we go a lot deeper here, and she gives you the rest of the story. Here we are, Jenn Bryant. Thanks for listening to Overeducated and Underemployed. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, I'm here with Jenn Bryant, who I can best describe as a pioneer in early internet music marketing, to put it broadly. And I think, to be honest, I only know like the outline of the story, which is why I want to talk to her and get the whole thing. Hi, Jenn.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm here in Athens for AthFest.
I know. Have you been having fun?
It's been amazing.
It's so good. Have you seen somebody good yet?
I have seen a lot of really
you.
Great bands, but I gotta say, Bubba Sparks brought it.
Really? I wanted to see that so bad.
It was so fun. And then
and Kimberly played yesterday too.
She's always amazing.
She's
like,
so
that
good.
was, I think, my third time seeing her play.
I know.
And God, she is like the best band in music.
She really does. She picked well. She really did. Yeah, I wanted to go see her, but we had a dinner plan last night, which really sucked.
Hot.
So
it was brutal.
It's the worst thing about AthFest. I was on the board of directors of AthFest for 10 years, and I couldn't get them to move it no matter what I did. So I just rolled off the board. There was no way. I mean, this is just when the town needs income, and so this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring people to town during the summer when it's stupid hot.
To be fair, like, I understand that reasoning, I think I was talking to my Uber driver, one of them, the other day. He said that the students are staying more and more though anyway. So, maybe one day
they'll switch it a little further.
Yeah.
One way or the other, so it's less.
I mean, even a month earlier would be
a huge difference. At least now, until the planet continues.
But I do want to say that they have been really kind to me. Like, they have treated their media people really well.
That's
in terms
great.
of access and everything. So that's they continue to, I think, do a really great thing. And it's, since you were on the board and I'm here for AthFest, and then we'll dive into like what I really want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Can you just tell everybody like what the purpose of the fundraising for AthFest is, like where that money goes, and kind of the philosophy behind it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that was one of our problems, was that early on, the message that AthFest had was, it wasn't clear. So what they were doing with the money and why, none of that made any sense to anybody because nobody knew what was happening. But what is happening is they're making grants for small schools and others, just regular schools, not small, but to promote arts and music in those schools. So basically they'll give a grant to a band like a school band, middle school band, to buy violins, or they'll give a grant to an art department to buy supplies for such, or to take a trip somewhere to do something. So basically teachers will apply for grants, and then AthFest will allocate the money as they see fit.
And the grants are it sounds like very specific for like a very specific purpose. Right?
That's right. They have to promote the music and arts in the schools, in local schools. So AthFest being for Athens, we try to do, I think they do some in Oconee too, but it's mostly Athens schools. And it's done really well, and they make a lot of money. They've made a lot of great grants, and I think once bands understand and people understand that that's what the money's for, I think they'd be more accepting and willing to play for less and stuff like that. And so
well, I will tell you the number of young bands I've seen this weekend
that
were kick ass. is awesome. Just and like that's the thing is like Athens has its share of like seasoned, long time veteran musicians, but you're also seeing like the young kids come up and keep it going.
It's not like it's not quite to the volume that it used to be.
Sure.
Like when I moved here, there was 120 or so original bands that only played original music, no cover bands, which is blew me away. Like I moved from North Alabama, Muscle Shoals, and we only had a few bands, like 3 bands there that would only do original songs. So yeah, it was insane. Now there's less of a music scene. I think COVID killed some of our best clubs, and sadly Caledonia and stuff like that. You know, it's just.
I think I was reading an article the other day. In some ways, we're still kind of recovering from like the collective like habit changes. Like people don't go out after dark as much. And maybe on the weekends and
they
stuff.
They just don't want to. It's like you're used to being home now.
And places don't stay open as late.
That's right.
So it became this like feedback loop where I think all kinds of art and culture has kind of
got damaged by it. I mean, not to mention just the guys having to find a way to make money.
And I think that's why we're seeing like house shows on the rise again too. Like I see a lot of people doing house shows, and I've hosted a couple.
I like that. I hope that the artists make enough money to continue doing that. I think as a full band it's hard, but for solo artists.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I had J. Roddy Walston there at my house a couple months ago. That was great, and I think he left happy.
Yeah.
And Lee Baines is coming in a couple of months.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, the podcast is named after one of his lyrics.
Yeah.
So it's like
he's the one.
The podcast.
That's so cool.
Okay, so it sounds like you've always been into music. It's been a part of you, and you grew up in Muscle Shoals.
That's true. Yeah, I was born in Auburn, Opelika actually, and so my parents were hippies, like the real hippies, not pseudo hippies.
Right.
My mom had painted this giant, the Rolling Stones lips, on the wall of our living room, and it was huge. It was huge. And so I have these pictures of me and having a birthday and blowing out the cakes with this giant Rolling Stones lips behind us. My parents always listened to music, just constantly. There was music playing on the radio, and I always was into it. They said that from a very young age, I was, like my first concert in utero was Ike and Tina Turner. So my mom remembers, she was like, you were dancing inside of my, so I guess I just was born to it. I always loved music, but I never had the concentration to sit down and learn to play very much. So I played bass a little bit, I played flute some, and I was pretty good at flute, and then that's not a rock and roll instrument very often, so without Jethro Tull. It's like, So I just kind of dropped all that and started promoting bands instead,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that sounds very similar to me
really?
As a kid. I grew up just loving music.
Yeah.
Found a couple of local bands that, I really liked that were writing original music. They didn't play covers. They ended up getting, signed to
Oh,
deals
nice.
In Tallahassee in the early 2000s, there was actually like a pretty cool scene. 5 bands got signed to major labels in the same year.
And you knew some of them?
I worked with some of them. I was thanked in the album credits and
That's
stuff.
great.
Yeah. But like I started street teams for them. And I would go to the mall with them, and we'd pass out CD samplers and flyers, and avoid mall security.
Yeah, try to get away with it.
And then they'd take me to Hooters afterwards. And I just thought that was, because I was like 13, 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a little young.
I was young.
For Hooters.
But that was the.
That made it cool.
That was as far as they took it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't.
They're not taking you to strip clubs.
No, and they weren't giving me drugs or letting me drink or anything like that. It was almost like, they helped me keep it on the rails just enough.
Right.
But rock and roll was my passion from a very young age.
It sounds very similar. Like you decided to help.
Yeah. And I joke that all comedians are like wannabe rock stars.
Yeah.
But I also think like all songwriters like secretly want to be comedians.
That's true. They really want to be taken seriously, but they also want to be funny because that's sexy.
Yeah. Well, and you can see it like both Patterson and Cooley's lyrics too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always putting little one-liners in there.
That's true. And Cooley is a natural comedian for sure. And Patterson's very funny. You have to like pay attention, but Cooley is straight up hilarious, and Patterson's.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I mean is like even if they don't channel it into stand-up.
Yeah.
With air quotes. You know, they aren't basically comedians.
Cooley's stand-up would just be him on the stage with a guitar, like with songs in between his stand-up. That's pretty much what he does anyway.
And, you know, I mean, there's nothing that really defines what stand-up is.
No, that's true. That's true.
So I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everybody.
All right.
And you already almost like spoiled it a little bit. But I think the in utero helped. But that's actually the second question. The first question is, what's the first song that you remember loving as a child? Like what they being like really like.
Okay.
I want to know who this is. I want to know more about this.
There's a difference. Like when I was a little kid, I loved horses more than anything. So the song Wildfire, do you remember that sad ass song about the pony that dies in the fire? That was my favorite song. And because I was so sad about that pony, I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. And then there was another song at the same time that also got me. It was Guitar Man, because it's so fucking sad. Like the chord progression is so sad. The lyrics are not necessarily, but yeah, it was just, for some reason, those were the first two songs that I really dug into. But then when I started like getting into where I wanted to know more about the musicians and stuff like that, this is so embarrassing. It was absolutely Journey. Because I saw this Separate Ways video, and Steve Perry was like standing in the front singing really loud, someday love will find, you know, and I just fell in love with him. I was just like, holy shit, this guy means it. He means what he's saying. I really want to know. I hope love finds, you know, just answering all these questions that he was asking, and really fell in love with that. So I bought a bunch of Journey records, and I fell in love with the whole. I knew all the members' names, and I knew what they played, and I knew how long they'd been in it, knew they were married to, and all these things, which things don't matter to the music at all, you know? So that's two different kinds of obsession that I have. I'll have an obsession about just music, and just the music itself is enough. And then I'll have an obsession where I like want to know more about the artist, and that's a different kind of thing, you know? It's also a music love, but it's not necessarily the intensity of the other. Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah, 100%. Because sometimes, I mean, and I think part of it is sometimes the music is just enough.
Yeah, that's true.
And
sometimes you don't
like,
need to know.
It's more of a celebrity kind of a thing, and less. And it's not necessarily to say the music is like not as good, but it's like maybe they don't put everything you want to know or what like. Some artists put their whole soul into their songs, and it's like, where else am I going to learn?
Yeah. No, it's true. Well, sometimes I think it's just human curiosity to be curious about something that affects you. So if if a song really affects you and makes you pay attention to it, you're going to want to know everything you can about it. And that's kind of how I think.
And there's that visual element too of the music video.
That's true.
Like, and I think because that's what you like you said you saw the music video. And that
latched onto that.
I think that almost elevated that obsession for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like when it went from just having the record.
For sure.
To seeing the video in their living room, like.
Yep.
It was a different thing.
Yeah, we lived out in the middle of nowhere. Like on Frog Pond, we lived at the end of like a 2-mile dirt road in a trailer that my mom was building a house. So there was no internet, there was no cable, there was nothing. And the only way I got to see videos was when I went to babysit. So when I was babysitting, I would watch their TV and see MTV, and that's when I didn't have any other way even to listen to. I mean, we could listen to the radio, but think about who was the DJs in North Alabama at that time. They were just playing the hits. You didn't find anything new by listening to the radio in North Alabama very often.
I mean, and you still don't.
Yeah,
really.
You still don't.
Maybe for different reasons now.
But MTV really opened it up to a lot of people, I think. You know, videos started a huge music revolution, even though it was weird.
And I think eventually it kind of made it so, like, looks mattered a lot more.
That's true.
But early on, I don't think that's true. I mean, there was a lot of ugly people in music.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, so it's like everything has bad and good. Yeah, for sure.
So what's the first concert you remember going to? Because I'm guessing you don't remember that I Can Tina.
I do not. My parents, my mom would go, she worked for a band. Like, she would do album cover art and t-shirt art and stuff like that for this band. And she took us to a festival that they were playing. And I remember being there and running around in front of the stage while they were playing. And then they took us onto their tour bus, which I do in quotes, because it was just a school bus that had been, and I got to sit next to the keyboard player, and I was like, oh my God, he's so cool. And he was like talking to me about playing, you know, he's just like, this little girl is really cute. And I'm just I want to marry you. It was very much that kind of just like, I was stunned by the fact that I saw him on stage playing, and then I could sit next to him and talk to him. And I was just blown away. I was just blown away that he was just a normal person, you know, that I could touch.
When do you think that like fully set in for you? Because I think like, I have a very similar, like, kind of experience.
Oh, yes?
Just, I mean, I can't even think of anything super specific. But eventually that melts away, and you are just like, these are just normal people, too. And do you remember, like, when you started to feel, like, less starstruck when you would be around musicians? And
no, because I'm still that way.
Are you still that way?
Yeah. So.
I mean, I think I hide it until they leave, and then I'm like,
Yeah, I try really hard. I'm pretty good at it now, for sure. But, you know, when I met Patterson Cooley, they weren't famous at all.
Well, sure.
So I never had that with them.
Right.
We always were brothers or whatever. And, but then they would introduce me to bands, like going to Florida with the Truckers. I was riding in the van with them at one point, and Patterson said, "You're going to love this." And he put on Barrel Chested by Slobberbone. And within the first song, I was like, oh, I love this. I think this is going to be my new obsession. And damn if he wasn't right. He was absolutely right. So then, like a couple of months later, I went to not South by Southwest. It was whatever the little thing they had in Denton. It was like a Denton festival.
Gotcha.
And I remember seeing Bryant Best walking around a record store. And I just kind of walked by him, and I wanted to say something to him so bad, because I knew he knew the Truckers. But I didn't know him at all, and he didn't know me at all. Right. And I remember him looking at me and me going, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And so I just ran away. And then later when I met him, he's just so nice. And of course, all the groups that Truckers introduced me to, Centromatic, Slobberbone, and just super group, all those guys were fantastic, super nice people.
And, you know, I'm just lucky that they've introduced me to their music. Slobberbone's not true. My buddy Craig turned me on to Slobberbone when I was 18.
Wow.
Shout out to Craig. We still hang out.
That's killer.
Yeah.
I can't imagine finding them at 18. That would have changed my entire life.
I found the Truckers at 18, and it changed my entire life. I mean, It did. I was working at a record store, and it's also, I've actually said this on the podcast before, but it was very similar to Patterson finding Led Zeppelin. Like, I just saw the artwork and it looked cool, and I took it home.
Yeah?
It was the fucking Truckers.
That's amazing. So many people have found them that way. That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
That's because Wes Freed is a badass.
He's
You have tattoos.
He's the fucking man.
I need to get one.
He's I think the care that they have always put into like the whole package is part of what attracts people that care about that stuff.
Sure.
A lot. And that's why they end up with such an art-loving fan base.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Patterson always he was resentful that he couldn't put out whole vinyl albums with the covers and the books and all that stuff. He really liked that. At the beginning, the fact that we couldn't put that out with Southern Rock Opera, when he decided to crowdsource it, one of the first crowdsourced things ever, he really wanted to do a vinyl, I believe, and we just couldn't pull it off, you know.
I was really I got into him right when the Dirty South came out.
Oh, nice.
And I got a promo copy a few weeks before.
Oh, wow.
Because it was on.
Because you worked at a record company?
I worked at a record store,
Yeah.
and it was going to be on a listening post, so they sent us way more copies than we needed, you know.
Wow.
And then the next day, literally the next day, I bought Decoration Day and Southern Rock Opera.
Dude.
But then, 2 months later, they reissued Gangstabilly and Pizza Deliverance, and they put all of it out on vinyl at that point.
Yeah.
And so, I got into them at the point where you could get all of that stuff, on the best format.
That's awesome.
I was just really, kind of lucky there, but I mean, also just the right place at the right time. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I don't know how I would have gotten into it. I wasn't even into like Southern music or anything.
That's so cool. I mean, really, it is just the fact that the album cover caught your eye, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's so cool.
it's the world's a magical place.
It really is. It's so interesting. And
So-
this same for me. Like when my mom was dead, I'll tell you how I met the truckers. I don't know if that's interesting or not.
On the line.
Am I jumping it too fast?
No, you're good. We can. I've got ADHD, and so have to listen.
I do
We can
too.
jump
It's
all
so
over
hard
the
to
place.
go.
It's great.
It's so hard to grow in a straight line, isn't it?
Interesting.
My mom was dating this magician, Steve Trash.
Okay.
Steve Richardson, and he was doing a show at Earth Day, and my best friend Chris Quillen, Monster, who I'd known because I was a fan of his band Stain Mecca, they were playing at this Earth Day thing too. So I had planned to go, but my mom talked me into really going. I kind of was going to blow it off, but she was like, come on, you'll get to meet Steve, and he's awesome. You'll see him do magic and stuff. And then Stain Mecca played, Steve did his thing, and Stain Mecca played, and then Adam's House Cat came on. And they were so crazy loud. Like, I had seen them before one time at Brass Lantern, and they were not my style. Like, I was just like not into Patterson's voice. I wasn't into any of it, and I was in a bad mood, and I was drunk and all this stuff. So I didn't like them first. I really didn't. But when I saw them at Earth Day, they were really good, and they were really belligerent, and I like that a lot. So then Patterson, I think I kind of talked to him a little bit. I was standing with Chris, and we were all talking about what we were going to do, and they were talking about going to a party in Tuscumbia. And so we all ended up going to that same party together, and that's where I got to hang out with Patterson and Cooley and got to know them. John Cahoon was there. I don't think Chuck came to that. I'm almost sure he didn't, if he didn't stay long. But then the next thing that happened after that night was that Chris wanted to ride to Muscle Shoals Sound, and Muscle Shoals Sound was where they were recording Town Burned Down, and so that's what they wanted him for, was for a backing vocal to do on that. So I got to hang out with them in the studio there, and that was the first time I'd ever been into a real live studio, and it was Muscle Shoals Sound, which was really cool at the time, and they were super nice, and I remember thinking that the PGA was something they were drinking, that they were like drinking it, and Patterson was like, no, we clean the tapes with this, this is teaching me about what they actually do with this. I was like, oh, I thought y'all were going to be tore up in here, and they were drunk, but it wasn't like that, it wasn't like they were drinking that. Yeah, that was the first time, that was how I met them, and then it just kind of went on from there.
Were you already like working with bands and like promoting bands?
I was doing like just flyers and stuff for Stain Mecca and other bands around. I would do what I could, but back then there was no internet, so.
Well, and that
I was in
leads me to
college.
My next question: how did you go from like not having TV at home to being a web developer?
Actually, well, I did a lot of stuff for Adam's House Cat until they broke up, and then Patterson moved to Athens. So I had moved to Florence and was going to UNA, and had the internet and stuff like or not the internet, but cable TV and stuff like that. So I could see videos and stuff. But then he moved.
So you moved here to come to college?
Well, no, I didn't. I'd already gone to college at UNA. I already graduated. I went ahead and graduated from UNA. Then Adam's House Cat went around. Then Patterson, they broke up, and Patterson Cooley went around as Virgil Kane.
Right.
And my brother played in a band with them, Horse Pussy. He was the drummer for Horse Pussy and stuff. So we stayed interlocked, but when Patterson moved to Athens and started Truckers, he kept saying, come, bring Chris, let's come, just come.
So he moved here first. And
he moved here. He moved here. He wanted Krillin, he wanted Monster to come move and play with them too. And Chris was never going to leave Florence. He's just, marry me is Chris. He was happy where he was, 2 or 8 lanes, it don't matter, it's just a little town. But he was playing with fiddleworms at the time. And so anyway, Chris died. He got killed in a car accident. And when that happened, everything stopped. Everything went away for a little while, and all of my friends came over to my house. Everybody was there. What happened? Why is this? We couldn't believe, because he was the most of all the people full of life. He was the most full of life of anybody I'd ever met. He reeked with being alive. He wanted to have fun and enjoy life, and he was the least reliable, way less than Rob Malone. He was so unreliable. You couldn't count on him. You had to go pick him up. He never had a car. You know, he was just that guy. He was just there to have a good time. And when he died, it affected everybody. I mean, the funeral was one of the biggest funerals Florence had ever seen. It's the trail of cars going to the cemetery. I just remember it took so long to get there because everybody loved him. Everybody. And Patterson and I and Cooley, I believe, all had dreams about him the same night. Anyway, that gets into a lot of stuff. But yeah, there was.
Patterson's told that story.
Yeah.
To a happy ending.
Yeah. That's
about
right.
His dream.
Yeah, that's right.
But
my dream was simple. It was just Chris came and sat on my lap, which he did a lot because he's like 5'6" or something, and I'm 6 foot. And so he would come sit on my lap and just tell me. He just came, sat on my lap, and said, "It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Just follow the path. Just follow the path." And then he just
the path is what Patterson said he.
Yeah, he never showed me a path or anything in my dream. He just sat on my lap and told me it was okay, because I was crying, and told me it was okay. It was going to be okay. So that was the same night that Patterson had his dream, and I don't know. I kind of remember Cooley having a dream, but I haven't really talked to him about that.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I think he was right. Everything seems to be going all right.
It really did pretty well. I don't know how much I believe in all that stuff, or what, if it was our own minds doing it to us or what. It doesn't really matter, but I can still hear Chris's voice. When I go to see bands, he still stands next to me. In fact, the night that he died, I was seeing the Posies in Nashville. I had no idea that I could even make it through that concert, because he and I loved the Posies together. He was my best friend, you know, and so my boyfriend was with me at the time, and we were with a couple of other friends, and they just said, just go, because that's what he would do. He would want you to go. And through the whole concert, he was with me. I mean, I just knew he was with me the whole time. I could feel him.
Yeah.
And so I think he's guided us. If that's a possibility, he's the one doing it.
Man, I don't know what I believe, but I do know when my grandfather died, I woke up that morning, and my mom, knocked on my bedroom door. I was, probably 15. And she goes, "I need to tell you something." And I said, "I already know Grandpa's dead."
Oh, that's so messed up. Yeah, that's crazy. And how that, just some people have a connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see you tearing up right now. It's I am too. No, it's scary. But I mean, I had no idea. I didn't know anything. I was asleep in Nashville, and my mom called me, and I was talking to her on the back porch. I was just happy and excited about going to see the show, and she goes, "I have something really bad to tell you." And I just remember my knees hitting the deck really hard, because I didn't know. I'd shut down. I just shut down. And that's how it happens sometimes. But after that, Patterson was here in Athens. I had to get out of there. 2 weeks after Chris was killed, I had a bad car accident, which broke my femur into several pieces and broke my wrist and fucked up my forehead, and I had a head injury from that. I had a head injury from a year before with another car accident. So that's why my memory is really bad. It does. It really does.
I mean, you're recalling all this great. What? So you moved almost immediately.
As soon as I could walk again. And I was on crutches because my leg actually had a rod in it that was too long. The doctor that did the surgery was also the doctor that did the surgery on Patterson's stepmother when she broke her femur. And that was a fucking nightmare. But he had put a rod in my leg that was too long, nails in my knee, nails in my hip, and I walked around on it broken when I moved to Athens for a year. I had no idea. I just thought it was going to hurt like that forever. So I had gotten tattoos and brands and all this stuff trying to understand the pain or deal with the pain, because I thought it was just like that. And then I finally went to a doctor here, and he was like, "Oh, your leg's still broken. Let's take that out and put in another rod." And it healed within a couple of months. So it was incredible the amount of pain that I was in. I had no idea that I wasn't supposed to be in it. But once I moved here, Patterson was already starting to get truckers going. Yeah. And he was, they were kind of that rockabilly, what is it? It wasn't rockabilly. what was I can't remember the term for it that they used.
Hellbilly, maybe?
It was like, they were all playing the Star Bar, and it was Truckadelic and the Truckers and psychobilly kind of stuff, but Truckers didn't really fit into any of those genres. Their songwriting was too good.
Yeah.
The lyrics were too real,
Right.
But so it wasn't just this party fun time music like everybody else was doing. It was real music.
They dress it up like that sometimes.
Yeah, they do. And that's what a lot of people still love. You can see people who come to the concerts and they're just there for the "Let There Be Rock" or whatever, They don't even listen to the lyrics. They obviously, if they're having a Trump hat on, they are not listening to the lyrics, right?
Yeah. I mean, it still amazes me that people don't.
That they don't get it, yeah.
Point,
but it's because of those anthem songs. I think they hear those and they're just like, yeah, Southern, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, a certain level of ignorance is required to wear a Trump hat in the first place.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I guess it makes sense. At least they're consistently ignorant.
That's right. Across all platforms, dumb.
So, what did you study at UNA?
When I was at UNA, I was a commercial music major.
Okay.
So I did an internship.
You wanted to.
I did. I already knew. I mean, I was in classes with Chris, so we had like orchestration class together. We had interesting, weird classes together, and we would. But I think my internship with Johnny was with Johnny Sandlin at Duct Tape Studios, and he did Brothers and Sisters. He did Johnny Sandlin.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Baylor.
Oh, really?
The other night. So.
I did. So I helped him, and my mom, actually, the print company that she worked for, printed the Good Luck Charm album cover and the posters, and Jerry Joseph with the angel baby.
Yeah.
Those posters and that cover, they printed all that stuff. So because of my connection there, I had gotten that hooked up, which was really cool to have that as part of my family too. My mom got involved, but yeah, that internship didn't last super long. I was working for Backdoor, which was owned by John Bell and Johnny Sandlin, and then they decided to hire another person who ended up being another part of the trucker story that we don't really talk about. But yeah, I quit that and left and moved back to Alabama, and that's when Chris died, and then I had my wreck. And then after I wrecked, I moved to Athens because Patterson was already here.
Let's go back to UNA for a second, though. Mm-hmm. What was the extent of their integration of technology into their curriculum at UNA in the commercial music program?
At the time, it was pretty good. I mean, we had studio classes. We could we recorded songs and stuff like that. It was for the commercial music program itself was new, and nobody had really done that.
So they had all new equipment and everything.
Yeah, they had a studio and all that stuff.
Were they talking about the internet being
not at all? Not at all. Nobody had at that point. I mean, this was right at the beginning of the internet. Yeah. So it had been out. There was BB.
It was you could get it.
There was bulletin boards. That's what we were on mostly. It was bulletin boards and stuff like that.
IRC chat.
Right.
And stuff like that.
So that was about that time, and then when I moved to Athens, that's.
When did you get internet?
I didn't until I moved to Athens. Yeah.
But that was the same. You got dial-up when you moved to Athens.
I had dial-up in Muscle Shoals for a little while.
Okay.
But I really only did bulletin boards, and I didn't have the internet.
Were you using that at all to promote bands, though? Locally, were you using the bulletin boards to...
Some, but really it wasn't, at that time, it wasn't separated out that well, so you would just know somebody who had a bulletin board, and you would go over to their bulletin board and hang out with them and talk to them about that stuff.
Gotcha.
There wasn't a place where you could go search, that I knew of.
Right.
Where you could go search for, certain music forums or something like that.
Did your bulletin board have a reputation of...
No, it was really small. It was really small.
I'm just trying to help you understand why I'm asking this stuff. I'm trying to understand, because I think, I mean, you're literally at the beginning of this stuff, the internet being available to a lot of people in mass, to where even if you had the internet, if only 5 other people did, then using it to promote a band is not really going to help.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. When I moved here, I got a job at a print shop, and then I did a print, not a brochure for this company called In Front, and they were a internet banking company. So that was the first real online thing that I had done anything for, but this was a print thing, and they loved my design, so they hired me and taught me to make websites. That was the very beginning of...
So it started with like graphic design.
Yep.
And then this company kind of fostered your talent.
That's right. That's right. They eventually got bought by Intuit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I left 14 years later, I think it was. But yeah, during that time, during that first little bit of time.
Another connection, actually, because
really?
my friend Matt Luffman.
Oh, I know Matt. Yeah, that's we worked together. Yeah.
I've stayed with him for homecoming almost every year. So shout out to Matt Luffman.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. I was hanging out with him at Bad Ends last night.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
The world is a small place.
Yeah, it really is. And so, when did you take the skills this print company was giving, helping
It was actually,
learn?
by then it was Infront. So Infront had stolen me from the print company.
Okay, gotcha. So Infront steals you from the print company.
Mm-hmm. They started training me to do websites, and then the first thing I did was make a trucker's website.
That was
it was literally the first website I ever made on my own that wasn't related to work. In the work ones, I'd only made a couple. So that was like the third, the one with the trucker on the front with he's smoking and, the original art that Chip Stacy did. And then right after that, I made Hayride and I made Supergroup. All those websites, those 3 websites were the first 3 that I ever made that were banned. And I just did it because I loved them and I wanted them to have some kind of presence out there.
And you were the only person that even knew these websites existed.
That's right. But even knew. Well, there was by this point, there was Yahoo groups, right?
Okay.
So there was an internet happening and things were moving around. I just wasn't so into it. But
did you get domain names or did you?
Yeah, I went and got drivebytruckers.com and we got supergroup.com and hayride.com. It was pretty, nobody was after that stuff.
These websites, folks.
No.
These are old school HTML programs.
That's right. That's right. We made it straight up HTML, CSS. I didn't even think we had CSS.
I doubt it.
I don't even think we had CSS back then in my memory.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it existed until like 97.
Right, I think you're right. I have such a bad memory for all that. But yeah, that website was really bad, and you can still see it on the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. I'll link it in the description.
Oh, you should. It's so bad. We had such dumb things like Breaker 19 little button on the front for the news. It was just cheesy, and it was so... Patterson and Cooley hated the internet. They were just absolutely against it.
I think Cooley still does.
Cooley still hates it. Yeah. He doesn't like it at all. And I understand that. But
it's gotten a lot worse.
I had to
it used to be like this magical
it's almost like he could see what was coming. He's like, this is going to end bad. This is going to end bad.
And I think people like me and you who were there dealing with the internet in the late 90s when it was still kind of this insiders club, a little bit of nerds and
we thought it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Then
there's so much potential.
And you know what? What ruined it is the same thing that ruins everything.
Money, greed,
billionaires.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
greed gets involved, and it's just
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
It could have been the best way to spread information and knowledge, but
it was.
For a short amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it
now
really,
that
truly was.
AI
I remember in 2005, just thinking how amazing it was that everybody had an encyclopedia in their pocket.
Could just pull it out and find out anything.
And now they've created a new form of illiteracy.
That's right.
You can't even pay attention. So you might have the ability to read, but
yeah. Do you really?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's funny. It really has. It's made us less than more.
So, at what point did you think that this could be a useful tool and not just this is fun, I like making websites?
Well, so we had the Yahoo group that Brandon Haney started.
Okay. And
Brandon Haney had started the Truckers Yahoo group, and then I made an admin of it when I made the website and all this stuff, and he mostly handled all that. But I would go on there and promote. And what I wanted to do was to get people to go see him live.
Right.
That was my thing, because I knew live they could fucking wipe the floor with anybody.
I know.
And so I was just
it's like a rite of passage for my close friends. They have to.
You have to see him live.
Because otherwise, it's like we don't even speak the same language.
It's true. That's true. That's a very good way to put it. But yeah, my goal was to get them more people in the crowds. They were touring 300 days a year. I mean, they were on the road all the time. So I just wanted them to make money and be able to put out albums, because that's what they needed to do. That was the thing. So me and Brandon would promote there. I would hop from Yahoo groups to Yahoo groups and try to find other Yahoo groups and try to find other places on the internet where I could talk about them in a way that didn't seem like I worked for them,
Right.
and pretend like, oh, these guys are so great, and it actually worked.
What was your official title with them at that time?
I don't think I had an official title. I was just a webmaster. Yeah. And so because of that, I also answered all the emails that came in. Yeah, so I was forever the person who responded to any emails that came to the truckers site or truckers questions or anything like that. And I could get in trouble sometimes. Patterson would be like, "Why did you say that?" But for the most part, I knew what he wanted, so I just keep it within the lines of what he wanted it to be. But that's, I think, why he did that. Well, not only that, but he lived with me for a little while after his first divorce. Timeline is sketchy, but yeah, he lived with me for a little while, and that's when he wrote or I think that's what the Check My Mail Jenn thing is about.
Yeah,
is about that, because he was always gone. He was there, but he was living with me, but he was always gone.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
So it was like his stuff was there.
His stuff was there. Yeah, his stuff was there. I still have a bunch of the stuff that he left at my house, actually.
One day auction it off.
No, that happens to him all the time, though. He'll leave
it?
stuff at people's houses, and then we'll see it on fucking eBay.
That's crazy. Man, I thought Roddy had left a pair of sunglasses at my house. Oh. And I messaged him, and he was like, no. I was like, well, can I tell people they were?
These are yours.
But no, it was somebody that came, and he picked them up a couple days later. But
that's funny.
I'm like always like taking it to the.
Yeah.
I'm just joking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me just take this as far as I can.
Why not?
I don't even care if they were actually yours, but they appeared in my house after you played
at the same time.
So.
Now they are.
So, when did it start to, when did you feel like it was working? And, when did you start to feel like, oh, people are coming to the shows because of the stuff I'm doing on the Yahoo groups and the website? Did you even have a way to tell?
There was no way to tell back then how it was going. But the attendance started picking up at shows, and they were able to make enough money. When he said he wanted to do Southern Rock Opera and he wanted to get people to invest in this, there was no crowdsourcing. That was not a thing. So we didn't have Kickstarter, none of that stuff.
Yeah,
he was just put something on the website that says we want people to invest. And so we put something on the website, and people invested, and we got the album made. So it was really fucking quick.
And this is in the year 2000, 99, 2000.
Somewhere in there, yeah. And so that was when I knew that the internet had this power. And I know that Patterson knew a bunch of the people that invested personally, and he talked to them. So it wasn't all the internet by any means. But
so Kickstarter, just for the record, was founded on April 28th, 2009.
Wow. I could have started that a long time ago. And I've missed that opportunity so many times I can't even talk about it. And I'm sure you have too. Anybody who's on the internet, you're like, wow, I've thought about PayPal a million times.
Well, I also just think people like you and me that were latching onto bands, pushing them, there's something you sniffed out a lot of bands that ended up being really successful and have
shocking
legacies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like the same kind of happened. I ended up working with the two of the 5 local bands that just happened to get signed from, as a teenager. And I guess my point is have you ever felt like you were almost like a muse or like a good luck charm or?
I do feel like a good luck charm sometimes, but I kind of think of it more like I'm the ashtray that people put their cigarettes on him. Like I'm the one they all come together, and this is where it all. And I know that's terrible. That's just how it appears in my head. But I feel like I know a lot of people. I have I think what somebody told me is I'm a connector, and I think that you're that way too.
I think
so.
so,
Like
yeah.
you're the person who, you know the people, and you connect the people, and you make things happen that way. But it's not really anything that you do yourself. You just happen to be the person that everybody likes.
I think this podcast is the first time I've ever been able to turn that into something productive.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And I think that website that I made for the truckers was the first time I was too.
So, how did you evolve the website as the technology got better? Did you find yourself like wanting to keep up with the latest programming languages and like doing new tricks on the site?
I was still, it was my job still. So
Well, sure.
for all those years I worked for Intuit, I was a web developer. So that's what I did. So I
Gotcha.
had to keep up on it. And it's because it was banking, it was like super on top. You had to be super on top of everything.
So Intuit was like educating you on how to make
That's right.
these bands' websites better and better.
Yeah, that's right.
I love
So,
that.
but Patterson always wanted to keep the trucker's website pretty simple. He wanted it to have the information, and this was my philosophy as well. It needs to be something that's easy to find, easy to navigate, and have the information that you want there. It doesn't necessarily have to have bells and whistles and spinning things and jumping things. That's not the point. The point is the information is there. And if you could find where to see them next and where to buy their albums, it was successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the lyrics. You can
Yeah.
get the lyrics. That's successful. Things that people want.
That I think was like one of the. I think the Drive-By Truckers were one of the first bands I ever was aware of to put their lyrics on their website.
Yeah, and it's still to this day the most hit pages of all are the lyrics pages.
Wow.
Because people will go to the front page and then they'll hit.
Was that something that
Final
you
lyrics.
was like that you pushed for?
Patterson and I
Patterson
both wanted lyrics, but Patterson really, he was very big on having his lyrics out there, or their lyrics out there, and for good reason, because that's what's part of their charm.
I mean, I think that's the artwork is what invited me in. The lyrics is what like made me stay.
Okay, yeah, because you hear that one turn of phrase and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Putting People on the Moon on repeat that night, and it was all over, dude.
That was it. That was the song for you. Was putting people on the moon.
People on the Moon.
Wow.
Yeah. It was all over. I mean, and there's so many great songs
Yeah.
on the Dirty South.
I know.
That happened to me with.
Yeah.
That was just the first one.
Yeah.
Daddy's Cup is another one.
Yeah.
Goddamn Lonely Love is another one.
I know.
And, I mean, but.
I remember when they gave me the rush for that record. I was living on King Avenue over here in Athens, and I just had pulled in. I was listening to it on the car, on a tape deck. Patterson made me the tape, and I was listening to it in the car, and I was driving home, and it was almost over, and I was parked in my driveway just bawling because I knew it was one of the best things I'd ever heard. I couldn't believe that my friends put that out. I just couldn't believe it, and I just sat there in the car crying for probably 45 minutes because and listening to it over and over because it was just so fucking good. And there's something about, there's a disconnect that you have where you can't, these people who you fart in front of you, they have this incredible skill to put your feelings into words, and they did it, and this whole album was just astounding to me. I couldn't believe it.
There's nothing on that record there's not a single note that I would. I have it, but I haven't even wanted to listen to and I know I need to, but I haven't even listened to
the reboot
because I just loved that.
I know.
Version of that record.
I know.
So much,
I'm that way with a lot of those too. I really don't want to hear that, but they do a good job with.
Well, and I understand. Like, first of all, I've been trusting them for a long time. They're not, he's making it better. Like, he's making it the way he wanted it to be in the first place.
Right.
And I respect that, and I do want to experience it that way. But sometimes it's hard to.
It's what you fell in love with.
So
it's like your wife gets a boob job.
Oh my God.
And you're just like, I love it, but holy shit, I miss your old real titties. You know what I mean?
That is like the best fucking analogy for a remaster of an album that you love that I think I've ever heard.
I've never really thought about it that way either, but
That's fucking brilliant.
That's the immediate thought. We're both like crying over this album. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that's...
Do you want to...
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what...
That's what they do to you.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the truckers. To this fucking day, I've never seen a show where I didn't think they were better than they were the last time I saw them. And I don't know how it's possible to keep getting, like I've seen some shows where they were super drunk and it was really bad. But it was still, the passion was there. The feeling was there that made it a great show.
I was talking to Sloan Simpson, and he's been on the podcast, but I was just talking to him after that. We became he came on the podcast and we just
That's all, I heard that one.
being buddies, you know, and we were just like, how are they still getting better?
Yeah.
And this was just after Homecoming this year. Because I felt like the Southern Rock Opera reboot, or, you know, the tour, was one of the smartest things that they did for themselves as a band. Because, especially being there, hearing the last time they did it, and I saw that tour a total of 4 times. I saw New Orleans, Birmingham, Atlanta, and then the final night.
I only saw it once.
And if the show they played after, where they played not a single song, like that set list Friday night or Thursday night, they didn't play a single song that they had played on that tour.
Yeah.
And it was like they fell in love with their whole catalog all over again.
Yeah. It's great when they have such a huge catalog to pick from. It's kind of crazy.
It's like, what is it, like 250 songs now or some shit like that?
And Patterson was complaining last time I saw him, just like, I can't remember earlier. And I'm like, well, no shit, dude. How do you remember half the things you've written so much? They're so prolific.
It's so funny because some of the fans
remember him better.
But it's like, we're autistic as fuck.
No, it's helpful.
Trust us.
I know he looks out in the audience to get the answer sometimes. He has to.
I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Cooley too. He can't remember, but yeah, they just keep getting better.
They do, despite the fact that occasionally they might forget a lyric or something. Just as a band, or they're tighter than they've ever been.
Now that they've settled into themselves, they're all happy. There's no infighting. There's no drama. It's just. Everybody's good. Everybody's ready to rock, and that's what they do.
So let's go back to this crowdfunding thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I feel like, we talked about the tour.
Yeah.
25 years later.
Yeah.
That was the culmination of this thing
that whole
started.
Thing, yeah.
What were the, how did you set up just the mechanics and the logistics for something like that? Like, how did you collect payment? How did you... I'm trying to think like all the things that Kickstarter or somebody does for.
It really wasn't me. All I did at that point was tell people that was what was happening.
Okay.
Patterson's the one who took care of all of it.
Okay.
I think Earl might have helped some too, but he took the money. He did the IOUs.
People were just giving him checks and cash.
Giving him checks and cash, and you know what? He paid everybody back with interest. Have you ever heard of that ever happening? I don't even know how.
I've never, like what? Well, they sold 1,000 copies out of the back of their van.
Yeah,
that's how they did it.
That's right.
That's how you pay people.
That's right,
back.
And he paid people back, and they were still able to keep going, somehow. I don't know. I had no idea what the numbers actually were in and out. That'd be a question for him.
Right. Sure. Well, I mean, that's not super interesting to me either. But I think what is interesting is there was no social media behind that.
There was no social media, so we didn't have any way to really spread the word.
But these people believed in it too.
For sure.
Because what I think was interesting about what you just pointed out, these people did not expect to get their money back. They were just putting the money into something.
Yeah, they were just saying here. Yeah, that's right. And people with Kickstarter don't really expect to get their money back either. So it's not anything that's.
They've put some more fail-safes into it nowadays, I think. But I mean, I think especially in the early days of it, when you were doing it in the same spirit of what they were doing, with the Southern Rock Opera, people were just like, no, I want to support this project.
Right. But once they started touring with Southern Rock Opera, that was the end. I mean, that's when all the people started noticing, the articles started coming out that were praising them and their writing and all that stuff, and that's when shit started really building. And I could tell online, I could tell by then that we were getting much more hits. People were really starting to talk, and the forums were all gathering new members and stuff like that. And then social media came about, and there was MySpace, and
When did Three Dimes Down start? And how much did you work with them on just like collaboration?
So originally there was another one, I think.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was called, but there was another board like that. And then Three Dimes Down started, I think, the same person. But I could be misremembering that. You may have to cut that because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
That's
But
okay.
yeah.
I mean, I think the fact that you said you don't know that, you're not sure, like,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I
Maybe
don't
somebody
remember.
will email in with the answer.
Yeah. I don't remember when Three Dimes Down started, but I do know I was in communication with the guy who started all that stuff for a while. He sent me tapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. That was there. I never really I got on it some, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was not ever active on it.
It was just, it was kind of fascinating though to go and watch people talk about these people that I knew. And it's not like now you see on Facebook, it's totally different because it's so much more, it's not anonymous necessarily, but people are so much more used to saying shitty things.
Yeah.
As long as there's a computer in front of them, they're fine saying stuff. So like Jason Isbell's Facebook group.
Right.
Miserable, right?
Yeah.
People are just so hateful and so mean to him. And it's like, what
You talking about stopping by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why are you here just to bash somebody?
I will
doesn't
say,
make any sense.
our friend Courtney.
Oh, yeah,
just
now
got
Courtney's
added as a
taking
mod
over.
to that group, so hopefully we
She'll whip him into shape, no doubt.
I think so. Shout out to Courtney.
Courtney.
Who heads the Drive-By Truckers Facebook group. And,
Yeah.
and keeps that place like super clean and.
Yeah, she really does. I don't know what we would have done without her. I couldn't take it on. I have too much other stuff to do. So by the time the truckers really got big on the internet, it was out of my hands. I even, like Jason Wilson, who does the social media now, way back, gosh, I guess it's been 10 years ago or more, I gave that to him because I was like, I just don't have time. I have a job. I have a life. I can't take care of everything. So he took over social media. Thank God. He's done an amazing job. And so has everybody else who was involved with all those little bits. Tracy Thomas promoting them is the reason they are where they are because she knows how to promote. It had a little bit to do with the internet starting and us badgering people to go see him live and badgering people to go see him live for years. And then once Southern Rock Opera hit, Tracy Thomas came along. It was her. She just knows how to do it, obviously, because she's now
Right.
Jason's manager.
I think what's really interesting though is like now the internet is such a it's such a crowded place.
Yeah.
It's this double-edged sword where anybody can get heard, but like you have to sift through everybody to find
Yeah.
the good shit.
And it's just getting worse with AI, and
It's all AI
unfortunately,
slop.
AI is training on internet content, which is now being filled with content that AI created. So it's eating its own tail. It's sort of becoming a shittier and shittier version. So everything that AI comes up with now is based on stuff that it created, which was based on stuff that was real, but
It's wild.
it's off. Like it's always wrong a little bit. So
Yeah.
it just keeps getting. It's like using the same mold for clay over and over over
Yes,
time. It just gets
multiplicity.
worse and worse. What's that called? I forget what that's called.
You ever seen Multiplicity?
Have I? I think so.
It's an old movie where it's from the 90s.
That's
where
right,
he
that's
gets
right.
cloned, and then the clones keep making copies of themselves.
That's exactly right.
Each one is like
Gets a little shittier. That's how the internet is ending up now, sadly. I think it's
Yeah.
just going to end up as what it used to be is just a memory. But for now, for this moment, at this moment now, we still have a little bit of integrity left. There's still places you can trust, and there's still things. That's why I think having an actual website is important. So many bands gave up their websites when they got social media, or never built a website when they got social media.
That's such a great point.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I made them hang on to the website because I'm like, this is where people want, this is the real thing. You know, this is from you. This isn't somebody on fucking Reddit saying that you're great or, you know, anything else. This is your words here. This is your presence. Let's keep it. Don't get rid of it just because social media is out there and nobody comes to the website right now. I promise they'll be back. And they will, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
because everything out there is crazy. So where do you go when you want to see where they're playing? You go to their fucking website.
I know. I sure as hell don't buy tickets anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get scammed.
Scammed, yeah.
Like you go to the band's website or the venue's website
Yeah.
to get the tickets.
Right.
And you don't go.
It's direct.
Don't even go to Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like you just follow the link.
That's right.
directly from
It's
that
direct to the thing. You don't
Yeah.
want to go fucking around with some random link somewhere.
I have definitely like come this close to buying like scam tickets to
Oh,
like
fuck
a
yeah.
comedy show or a sporting event, just like that I was trying to go to last minute.
I know, man. So I recently got into K-pop, which not really all of K-pop, but there's a certain group that I really like that produce their own stuff, write their own stuff, and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff. And just trying to buy tickets for that online is insane. Not only is the Ticketmaster resale thing, which we all hate, right? Everybody fucking hates Ticketmaster. But the scammers that are out there, it's crazy how they're so good now. You can actually get a ticket to the show, pay $600, and then
Show up and the ticket's already been
tickets
used.
fucking been used. Yeah. It's a mess. It's a mess.
It's crazy.
I'm glad I'm not getting into the internet today.
And then there's some clubs where they're just like, and I don't want to name names, but they're just like, oh, what name are the tickets under?
Oh yeah.
And it's like you can literally just like know somebody has tickets.
That's right. That's all you got to do, and then you can walk in their tickets. Yeah.
So, what do you still hang on to in terms like you passed in social media on? Like, what do you still do the website? Do you still where do your duties end?
So recently we pull in for a long time all I had really changed was stuff. When they put out an album, I'd change everything, of course. Put lyrics up and whatever they wanted up. If Patterson wrote one of his missives, where he tells everybody what's going on, I would put that on the website. So I really didn't have that much to do other than just keeping it clean and keeping it,
Do you have like West Freed fonts?
No, I don't. I wish I did. We should have made a West Freed font. But I'd get as close as I could. I'm an artist too, so
Yeah, of course.
I could do stuff. And of course, Patterson's sister Lila, she lays out all the albums and does all the art
you
for
could
that
probably
stuff.
make a font if you've got enough
You
tour posters.
definitely could make a font. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that I can't do. Like Patterson wants, he's like, can we get every tour poster scanned in and put online? I'm like, sure. That's going to take me about 15 years.
Yeah, you need an archivist.
Yeah,
I
you
did
have
work
to.
as an archivist for
Oh,
months.
really?
I have a history degree.
Oh, nice.
I'm just throwing things out there,
I mean, start collecting posters, scanning them in.
I will say the collection of the homecoming posters that's in the company we keep book is one of the coolest things. That I think. And they're really high quality scans.
Yeah. There's so many
And I bought-
posters. So for merch, I did the merch for a while. I was like the merch creator and manager and stuff like that, but not for very long. And then before that, I had started keeping a piece of every merch that we did. And so there's at the headquarters over here in Athens, we have a small collection of everything that we had for the first few years that I just put up there. And then just one of everything. So sometimes some of it disappears. Somebody will go up there and find it. But we tried to keep one of everything, which is kind of cool.
That's amazing.
There's some old shit up
really
there.
Cool.
Yeah. But then I just turned it over to them and stopped collecting myself because they just got to be too much. Like they're putting out
now-
6 T-shirts or 8 T-shirts.
Yeah, every tour has.
Yeah. Every tour has 3 hats and 2 posters or 10 posters or whatever. It's just too much.
Yeah. I mean, I do think the archivist in me says if they want it done, what you do is you start doing it going forward.
Yeah.
And then you slowly work through the back catalog.
Yeah. Well, just to do the West Freed ones would be fantastic. And of course, without him, we have a hard time. Although, we could go to where he lived and Jackie would let us look at everything and take what we needed, but it's just so much. I mean, he did so many posters. He did so many. I could not, I don't even think I could remember.
100 a year, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And not to mention T-shirts and everything else. I don't know what they're going to do. Nobody knows what they're going to do now.
Well, Patterson did find a really good solution with his last solo record.
Yes, absolutely. I really was hoping he would find young, new artists and start using them. And that's what he's done with his solo stuff. I don't know what Truckers will do. Their brand is so strong with Wes's stuff. They're going to try to use it, I think, as long as they can. But
yeah, you were talking earlier about how they didn't really fit into any of that scene, like the Star Bar and stuff like that, right? And I think part of it is It's because it's, you know, their lyrics, and they, like, I mean, in some ways they're like writing folk songs, but playing them like heavy rock, or I don't know. But I do know that it only takes me like a note to know that it's them.
Yeah.
They have the most distinctive sound of any band in the last like 30, 40, 50 years that I can think of.
Yeah. And that's a lot of Dave Barbie too. He really helped with that as well.
Yeah. I caught like the part of his set last night. The flicker was packed.
I bet it was.
It was crazy. But I do think like in the way that they have this like guitar sound that is like so distinctive. You're right. Like Wes Freed's art, even if it's not art for them, it makes me think of them immediately.
I know.
Like it's like in The Secret to a Happy Ending, he says that it's like he hears things in the music that they didn't write, and they saw things in his pictures that he didn't draw. And
That's
it was
right.
like they were in conversation with each other, and I mean, it really is. To me, it's like losing a member of the band.
Yeah, it definitely is. Not only that, but I mean, he was such a close friend. Patterson, I don't know if we'll ever recover from this. I feel like I'm still going through it every day because, you know, he just called. I saw his name come up on my phone, and I was like, yay, Wes is out of surgery. And I picked it up, and it was Jackie telling me he was dead. You know, it still blows my mind that it even happened. It wasn't time for him.
No.
Something happened.
And I don't think we ever get over it.
No,
like,
I don't think so.
When we have those losses like that.
Yeah. It's still
they become
Craig.
part of us.
Craig, Chris, Wes, just the people that we've lost. It's insane. It's insane that we can keep going sometimes, I think.
Well, I mean, so I always view Craig as kind of like the liaison to the fans.
God, he was the best. Like, where I feel like I was a connector, Craig had me beat. He could remember people's names. He could talk to anybody. He was just completely the friendliest, nicest person in the world, and he could just make you feel welcome. And that's why he was so good at it.
There's a hole that will never get filled by our friends.
For sure.
But in the sense of there being like this outreach to the fans, I feel like people like Jay really, like Jay became like this, and it was natural, I think, for him.
Because he's the nicest human
really is just like one of the
face
nicest
of the
people
planet.
on the planet.
He
Yeah.
really is.
You just saw it. And the point that I'm making is like there's so many people that believe in them, that love them, that surround them. They've surrounded themselves with so many good people that when something like that happens, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like we're going to you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Somebody always steps up and fills the role. It might, the shoes are never going to be filled, but the roles get taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, when I saw Patterson on the solo show, we talked for a few minutes in Atlanta just a few months ago, and I was like, dude, thank you for not letting me regret this, because I got this tattoo when I was like 20.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm 39 now.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, dude, thanks for not letting me regret this.
Yeah.
He's like, wouldn't that have sucked?
That's a big cover up right there.
But it's also like, it goes back to what I think we were talking about. Like, I don't have any other bands that I love tattooed on me.
Right.
Like, there's something about us that we knew.
Yeah.
That they were that special, and like they would be around 20 years later, and or at least not disappointing us with their exit, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I mean, just the thought of from him playing songs on the floor of my living room when I was in college to where he is now, where they are now, it almost doesn't seem real. I mean, it really doesn't. It doesn't seem like it's not real. It doesn't seem like it's that weird. It's not strange. Like I expected this to happen. Right. I did expect this to happen, but it's still really strange to see, especially with Jason, how big he is now and how huge that got. I didn't have a hand in that at all, so I can't say, but just watching it is something else. To watch it from this close.
I don't know that anybody but Jason's songs had a hand in
Yeah.
it, to be honest. Like, there's just...
Well,
he's so much more accessible musically than a
For
lot
sure.
of the other music that I love.
And more than the Truckers. I mean, he
Oh,
is
yeah.
he is more accessible than the Truckers.
He was the most accessible like singer at the time in
Yeah.
the band, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think anybody would argue with me there, but
You know, the funny thing is, Jason, when he was with the band, I remember very distinctly one night early on, I was on tour with him, and we were in the tour bus, and he came in late, really drunk, and he just sat beside me, and he goes, you know, I just feel like I have something more to do. There's something going on. I feel like I'm meant for more than this. And I was so mad at him. I was like, I didn't say anything at the time because he was drunk. It wouldn't have mattered. But
Right,
I was
right.
just like, how could you think that you are meant for more than the Truckers? Are they not incredible? Are you guys not happy the way you are? And he's like, I think I was meant for more than, I was meant for more. And I just, okay, good, you know, pat him on the head, put him to bed, that kind of thing. And then ignored it for then on, and then I realized I think a lot of people who are famous now have this vision before they even really are, before they know they can be. And I want to know where that comes from. Like, where do you have that certainty that it's going to work out and you're going to be where you're supposed to be?
so and I had this conversation with Slightly Famous Somebodies on Friday night where, because they covered Fever Dog, Almost Famous.
Oh, really? Wow.
They had a lot of connections to that song and that movie. When I was a kid, people told me, "You're William Miller. You're Cameron Crowe. Like, you're that kid." And it was like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I kind of get what you mean.
Yeah.
And then I had a kid, and I had to stay in Tallahassee, and I had to raise my kid, and not had to, I chose to do that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what I wanted to do.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, it's
That
not
was
like,
the right thing to do. That's what you should
well,
do.
it's not even the right thing. I mean, it might not have been. Like, if I wasn't engaged and involved or wanting to do it, then it might not have been the right thing to do. Like, maybe the better thing to do is to walk away,
leave, yeah.
to not build resentment.
But you knew that was the right thing for you.
I knew it was the right thing for me to do.
Right.
Exactly. And it was what I wanted, and I don't have any regret over that. But I also know my daughter turned 18 this year, and
That's insane.
I'm now picking up where I left off in a lot of ways when I was 18, and
That's fine. This is better. This is better than you going into it when you were young and dumb.
now I have all this like
Now
life
you know.
experience, and I
That's
have all
right.
these, like, yeah.
That's why
exactly.
I've never been upset that the Truckers got famous as older people, because if they had gotten famous when they were young, like Jason did, they could have gone through this same like horrible self-destruction. Who knows what would have happened?
Once I was like free to do what I wanted to do with my life again, like without worrying about necessarily like making the safe decision or the responsible choice, I went right back to what I like.
You knew.
I mean, I feel like in a way I'm still just using this to like promote bands I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that aspect of it.
That's fine. You're still
But
doing
there's
something
also,
that you enjoy.
all these things that I've done throughout my life that I'm combining into it. Last night, I'm hanging out with Kane Stanley, who's the drummer of that band. He was on the podcast, and he was like,
Yeah.
he looks at me, and this was one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten. He goes, I think doing your podcast made our band have better chemistry on stage.
Aw, you know that's true though.
And I was just like, what? Like,
It means that you had something to do with the beauty of what came out of it. It's nice. It's a beautiful feeling.
it told me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to
You're doing what
be
you're
doing.
supposed to be doing.
And I think I've always known that.
Yeah.
And you asked, like, how, when somebody has, like, this, like, I know that I'm supposed to do something, and this is, and I would disagree when Jason says that he's meant for something bigger. Sure, he might be more popular, and I love Jason.
I mean, the man's got Grammys.
I have no, sure. But he would never be where he was without
No.
the Drive-By Truckers. And
Yeah.
I knew so many bands that wouldn't even exist. They changed my life. They
Yeah, for
changed
sure.
everybody's lives that really get into them. Like,
Yeah.
half of my friendships are like surrounding their
Yeah.
music. You know what I mean? So
And it's good that most people who know it, Jason knows it, you know it. They had an effect. They made you what you are.
And I love Jason. I'm not trying to.
Oh, I do too.
And this is the drunk comment on a tour bus 20 years ago.
Exactly.
I think you're right. He knew that he was meant for something different. Culturally speaking, I think the drive-by truckers are more important than just Jason by himself, because first of all, Jason wouldn't have a he wouldn't
wouldn't be there.
Part of what made him such a good songwriter is because he was competing with.
That's right.
This
I mean, he was
energy.
already fantastic when he joined.
Of course.
But for sure, he
and
got
his
better.
songwriting went new levels when he got sober and things
And
like
he
that.
admits
too.
all that. You know, he really, they influenced him very much. Just that knowledge, that foresight that you have something to do that you haven't done yet.
Right.
And that you are meant to do something that you haven't done yet. That thing that drives people, I think 90% of America or humans don't have that. They don't have that one thing that pushes you forward. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it never went away.
Oh,
I went 20 years. Okay, I'm gonna raise
always
my kid.
needed it.
I tried to start a record label and the local
Yeah.
shit. I didn't start doing stand up until pretty recently, and it's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily care what my kid thinks of what I say on stage anymore.
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know. But I knew the whole time, I was like, I had to fail a lot to find the thing that worked, and I think I'm finding the thing that works, but I always knew that, and I get what he meant by more than.
Yeah.
More than in the sense of just, I'm not done yet.
Yeah. It was very much, I'm meant to do more than this.
Well, and I guess I'm just using that as a springboard for talking about your question, where I'm like, I don't want to say that I felt like I wanted to, and I think parenting is a really good example. Like, I never was like, I want to do something bigger than raising my kid. Like,
yeah.
And I don't think that he probably wouldn't have viewed it that way either.
I understand.
But I always felt like I was more.
Yeah. Like
to
something else
like,
was.
yes, something's coming. And
See, I never felt it. That's why I think it fascinates me so much, is that I never had a truth, like a solid, I feel like I'm going to be this person. I feel like I'm headed in this direction. This is where I need to go. So I never had a direction. I just kind of luckily jumped from one thing to the next and happened to fall into the right place all the time. I've always been super, super lucky that way.
But I think what Jason said on that night, that's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know who that person is going to be or whatever it is, but I think that we do know there's more.
There's something else.
There's something more for me.
Yeah. That's just it's such a fascinating idea that some people can have it and some people don't. And
well, I wonder if it just means that you've already found your groove, man.
I don't know if it's just I never really paid attention. I mean, literally, I consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world. I really do.
Me too.
Yeah.
When people say that they're like, you're really lucky, I'm like, perpetually.
Yeah.
I'm perpetually lucky.
Well, that's one of the reasons I was wondering about this, because I didn't really do anything to make myself anything special. I never did anything. I was just who I am, and I'm just fall into these places. Patterson put my name in a song, and that made people know who I was. You know, I answered the email for them, and people knew who I was. And you know, it wasn't anything that I actually tried to do or did. I just kind of fell into these places. It's like with learning Japanese. Like I started learning Japanese. Immediately I met 3 Japanese people who are great friends of mine now, and they helped me teach Japanese. So things like that, I just fall into it. I fall into it every single time. It's kind of just luck.
What I would argue, though, is that you know what you want and you go get it.
I didn't do anything. It just falls into my lap.
But you did. What was the first?
I had a lap. That's what I did.
I mean, that's fine. And Chris sat in it in a dream.
Yeah.
And he told you to stay on a path. Did. But you also.
Well, I followed the path that Patterson was.
But you didn't know what path it was. You just said follow the path.
I just knew that I was going to promote my friend's music as long as it was good.
It was just your instinct.
Yeah. Fans, and you're this way because when you love something, you want to share it with fucking everybody. You want everybody. You have to. It's so evangelical. It really is. It's almost like you have to sit them down and show them pictures and show them video and show them, make them listen. Oh, mine do too, believe me, because I go through obsessions, and right now, like K-pop, they're just like, what the fuck? Years ago, it was heavy metal, Japanese heavy metal, and so it's just like, it switches all the time. So they never know what to expect from me, but yeah, just the fact that when something inspires you so much that you have to sit down and tell people about it, that's what's great. That's all I did. That's all I've ever done. Is just sit people down and be like, listen to this shit. It's great. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a connector, right? I mean, that's somebody who does those.
I think that you're like saying that you didn't do anything while saying all these things that you did. Just because I think the difference is that it was more like instinct and impulse led you well.
Yeah.
And maybe you weren't like, okay, I'm going to intentionally do all these things.
Yeah.
But you just were you.
Yeah. I mean, when I first made their website, I didn't know that a website would do anything. You know, I just thought, this is something I can do.
Be like a thing.
Yeah. It was really just, this is something I can do. I'm going to do it. And
but
maybe it'll help.
Point.
Yeah. Maybe so.
You see what I mean now?
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, you just took this knowledge that you had and you just did this thing, and
yeah,
in a way you like predicted the future. Like
I like that idea. I really like being ahead of the curve, on top of things if I can, for them. Not necessarily for me, but for them. I want them to be, you know, on top of shit. I want them to be on everybody's mind because they're so good. They should be. They can teach you. The lyrics can make you understand things that you may not understand.
They're the most literary band.
It's really insane, and it's
that I've ever encountered.
There are others comparable, but nobody does it like them.
No, I mean they're just the stories that they're able to pack into 3 minutes.
The way they say it, especially Cooley. Well, Patterson too. They're both. Jason too. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, I still don't really separate them.
Yeah.
People talk, and that's part of it too. Is like, yeah, Jason's he's solo, but he's still part of the same thing.
I think he thinks that way too. Sometimes
yeah,
he still has that. And I know
especially now that like all the waters, because you were at Shoals Fest a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
With the Slobberbone was super.
See, Jason did this to me on purpose. I know he did, because Slobberbone and Centromatic, my two favorite bands, truckers. Third favorite band. I say that, but you know what I mean. They're all on the same level, really. But Slobberbone and Dramatics just.
I love that.
So when Jason had announced all those guys, I was like, "What are you doing to me? What are you doing?" He's like, "They're my favorite bands too. What can I say?" So yeah, it was incredible. I love him for that.
In, October?
I want to. You know, my stepdad, Steve Trash, who started this whole thing, he's actually like the MC this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Or not, I mean, I know he's doing all through it, but yeah. It's so crazy that everything's still in that one little space that he got pulled back in, and he was there the first time I met them. It's a wild ride.
So, I don't know that this story has an ending, so I don't know like where to like end it.
I don't either.
But what I will ask is, what do you think people need to do, other than like bands having their own website, which I think is like, I was like, oh yeah, that's so important and something that like I've just taken for granted that most of my bands have their own
many
website.
don't. It's crazy.
But what do you think the future of the internet is going to look like, and what can we do to stop some of this AI slop, stop this sort of like the snake eating its own tail?
Yeah. Support real journalism, support real news if you can, stuff like that. Try to go to websites instead of social media if you need information, that kind of stuff. I don't think there's anything we can do because billionaires. That's all you have to say, really. Because billionaires.
Yeah, because
we're going to get fucked one way or another.
It's so weird that this podcast isn't about that, but it seems to come up every episode. I don't...
There's always been an underground, right? There's always been, even when the billionaires are in control, even when everything is locked down, there's always an underground. And you just stay with the underground, figure out where it's at, chase it, promote it, help it become bigger, and give it more access to people. That's what needs to happen. Because otherwise, everything's just going to be corporate run, corporate news, what they want you to believe is what you're going to see. That's all you're going to see. And they're going to hide it as much as they can. So we have to find the ways to be underground, and that's not going to the dark web by any means or anything like that, but just finding the places you trust.
Well, I mean, unless you need drugs.
Or somebody killed.
And when I say drugs, I just mean like insulin. I don't mean...
Sure, that's right. You can just get it cheaper there. It's a much better way. So you're getting it off Temu, the fucking Chinese.
So I have a feeling there's not a lot of people that listen to my podcast that don't listen to the Drive-By Truckers or aren't aware of them.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the last thing I'd like to ask you, unless you have other things you want to add here, but what would you tell somebody to listen to that's never listened to them? As another super fan like me, because at the end of the day, we're just both fans of this band.
Yeah, I know.
It's
true. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Just geeking out about them.
But what would, and this is the hardest question for me to answer
so
when
hard.
Somebody asks.
Because it's really personal to the person. If I know the person likes heavy metal, I'm going to direct them towards one of the...
That's a really good point. It's what are they already into?
It's hard to say. Just go out and listen to Dirty South or Decoration Day, and that's it. That should do it for you, but it might not. Maybe you're not that kind of person. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the Dirty South really is, it runs the gamut of kind of stylistically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not everything they've ever done, but, there's ballads, there's fast songs.
Yeah.
There's heavy rockers, there's...
That's right. But there's a lot of the new stuff's fantastic, too. It's just, it's so hard to...
This might be one of the greatest songs ever written.
I know.
Fuck.
They stun me to this day. I hear a new song and I'm like, how did you fucking write that? And they just keep putting out great stuff. I'm happy for it. So yeah, I don't know what I would choose, but yeah. That's a personal thing. If you ask me, I'll ask you what kind of music you listen to, and then I'll tell you what I think.
I have one last question.
Okay.
Tell me about your banana pudding. Because I've made it before. You gave me the recipe 12 years ago when I made it, and it was amazing. And just tell people about your legendary banana pudding.
It's so funny. It's not even a recipe that was ever put together in any kind of
I think you did.
book or anything. Yeah, it's just kind of, but it's a very standard Southern banana pudding recipe.
Really?
There's nothing special about it. The only thing that's special about it is the ingredients. You just have to use really good ingredients.
That was what you emphasized to me when you gave me the recipe. You were don't skimp out.
Don't skimp out. Don't walk away when you're stirring the pudding. Don't walk away from it. That's it. I mean, it's really simple. Use the best ingredients you can find. And that worked for everything. I mean, isn't that why the truckers are great? They have the best fucking ingredients you can find.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. And really, the fact that it became famous is only because Patterson's grandmother used to make some so similar that he loved it. And he talks about it all the time. So Sissy...
I just heard about it on the forums.
Oh, really?
Or the Facebook group or something.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I'm going to make it. And now I've made it 3 times now.
Yeah, that's awesome. He asked me if they could put it in a book, because they had come to the truckers asking for a recipe from, some recipe, some rock and roll recipe book.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, why not? He goes, can I call it Sissy's Banana Pudding? And I was like, sure, why not? It was his grandmother, and he always loved it because it just tasted just like hers.
So now it's in a cookbook somewhere.
It's in a cookbook as Sissy's Banana Pudding. Yeah. But he did put, that it was mine, that was my recipe and stuff like that. So that's not and I loved Sissy. I only met her once, but she's pretty taller than me, which is crazy.
I'm going to find the book and I'll link it in the description.
I wish I could remember the name of it.
Make your banana pudding.
It's a very simple recipe, and I'm very free with it. I don't think recipes should be kept.
It's found on the side of the banana box.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
That was my interview with Jenn Bryant. She was kind enough afterwards to take me by Drive-By Truckers headquarters, and so I got to see where it all happens. That was pretty goddamn cool, I gotta say. We just had the most fun. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. You can check out the Drive-By Truckers on tour. They're on tour with Deer Tick and Thelma and the Sleaze right now on the Charm and Decadence tour. Jen's still running drivebystruckers.com. If I had to guess, she is the longest running webmaster in all of music, maybe anywhere, especially continuously. Running a website for 26 plus years is pretty crazy. Next week, we've got Mike White. He's been published internationally. He photographs all kinds of amazing artists. And he was the official photographer for Athfest this year. He also did this amazing photo collage using all sorts of photos he's taken at Athfest over the years to recreate the Athfest 2025 logo. We dive into all of that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to the Sloan Brothers for our theme songs. Thanks to Lee Baines for inspiring the title of this podcast. Check out both of their music. There's links in the description. This is Overeducated and Underemployed. Thanks for listening.